What's up? I'm going to share my story from how I went from a broken Marine to being a pain free runner to even able to do a full marathon. So, nearly 80% of runners get injured every year. And here's how I plan to fix this. Why I'm on a mission to help runners stop getting hurt, stop being sidelined. So, who I am? I'm Dr. Ray Peralta, doctor of physical therapy and run coach. And over the last 10 years or so, I've helped hundreds of runners just like you get out of pain and run their personal best without breaking down, burning out, or relying on surgery or endless foam rolling. But it didn't start there. In this video, I'm going to share why I had to fix this problem, right, of runners who kept getting hurt, reoccurring injuries, not able to hit their PRs. Because I was once that runner, the one sidelined by pain, doing all the right things, the rest, ice meds, and still falling apart. I'm going to walk you through the five key moments that helped shape my mission to help runners become strong, injury-free athletes for life. Even if, as you get older, at 35 and up. Here's what I'm going to share my painful origin story as a young Marine, the journey of being medically discharged, this new method that changed everything for me, how I built my own approach, and how I went from barely walking to back to running, even completing a full marathon. So, part one, my back was breaking, literally. I joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old, determined to be the best, right? I was even training for Marine Recon. Right, I went through boot camp, infantry training battalion. I crushed my 3 mile run, did my pull-ups, maxed out the sit-ups, uh, push-ups as well till my arms gave out. Right, did my 3 mile run in under 18 minutes. But then came this 12 mile ruck march where I had to wear heavy gear. It's about like 40 or 50 pounds of gear. Then for like 12 miles, just walking with this gear while I was part of my unit. I was again stationed in Camp Lejeune, and then my legs started to give out. I was starting to get back and leg pain. And that back pain wouldn't quit despite having some rest. And it turns out I had a pre-existing condition. I had scoliosis. So my back had a curvature, which kind of weakened my back. And then the military, the Marine Corps training just made it worse, right? So the grueling training, because I was in the infantry, I even wanted to get into the special operation, the force recon. But then eventually I was medically discharged. I was feeling broken, defeated. I thought, man, how am I ever gonna be able to be active again? I thought I was gonna just be on disability. I didn't have a mission, no team. I was just in pain and I had to, move back in with my mom and thinking, like, what am I gonna do next with my future? And I'm like, I could barely even sit still because I kept having the shooting back and leg pain, kept trying to numb the pain with Advil or ibuprofen. And I tried everything. So part two, this is the feeling of feeling broken and abandoned, right? I tried everything. Again, I tried the rest, ice, compression, elevation, and taking ibuprofen, muscle relaxers, right? But nothing worked. And I felt that, hey, I was only like 18, 19 years old. I thought I was just too young to get back surgery. I even looked up some stats that 50% of back surgery fails, right? And I felt that the system was broken, right? They were just kind of focused on treating the symptoms, trying to mask the pain, but nothing was truly fixing it, right? And I just kept feeling this chronic, persistent pain, and I felt lost. I was like, man, what the hell am I going to do? And it was conflicting advice, stuff you read online of what to do, like, oh, just complete rest, don't do any activities, no physical activities for a few months, and just wait and see. But I thought that wasn't good enough. And then we come into part three, this new opportunity that changed my life. I stumbled across a little known method known as the McKenzie Method for back pain, a simple movement-based approach that didn't rely on pain pills, injections, or surgery. It was based off this New Zealand physical therapist from the 1950s, and I tried just one movement, and I followed it for about 10 minutes or so. This lumbar extension exercise, and I felt the first real relief in 3 years. Within just 3 weeks or so, I had like minimal pain. I was able to go for a run. I was completely shocked. That moment changed my life and my career path. I was like, wow, this simple McKenzie method, doing exercises that you can do at home, can just get you pain relief and get you back to running. And then, part four, I became obsessed with the human body and, helping others find the same kind of relief. So this is where I started building the athletic runner method. So even though the McKenzie method was great, it still didn't bridge the gap to full performance because when I started like increasing the mileage, I would have some other aches and pains or other types of running related injuries prop up like knee pain. So I was like, there's something missing here. So, bunch of college, right? Bunch of studying. I got a bachelor's in biology, a master's in exercise physiology, a doctorate in physical therapy, orthopedic residency in physical therapy. And then I got my McKenzie Method certification and even a diploma in the McKenzie Method. Again, but McKenzie alone wasn't enough for runners, right? It helped fix the pain, but not the performance axis, right? Performance wasn't able to run better or prevent other running related injuries. So then that's why I started creating the athletic runner method, a complete system built around one, pain and performance assessment for runners, right? Because runners have unique needs, and someone who's just a couch sedentary person who just sits all day and just is like a couch potato, right? Runners have unique needs for the sport of running. Strength training for runners, and then nutrition and fueling for runners, and recovery and mobility practices to help runners stay injury free and hit PRs. And that's what helped me complete my first marathon back in 2019. I was able to run that first marathon relatively pain free in 3 hours and 27 minutes. Right. And that's also what helps other runners who I've worked with, including runners I've worked with online, such as Maria, a mom, a real estate agent in her 50s who had a past knee surgery history, who wasn't fully recovered from that knee surgery because she kept having persistent knee pain. We were able to work together and get her out of pain, that knee pain, and conquer the Chicago Marathon in 2022. And that's just one of countless other stories of runners who I helped over the years get stronger, get pain-free, and hit PRs, whether it's their first marathon or multiple marathons that they want to get back to. So full circle, now I help others transform. Today I helped runners in their 30s, 40s, and even beyond, right? Break that pain injury cycle, right? Where they're not just masking the pain. Again, traditional physical therapy may help them get some pain relief, but then when they start ramping up the mileage or the speed, they try and do more miles and stuff, they end up getting hurt again. So I help them break that injury cycle, follow a smart running training plan, help them run stronger than ever, right? Building up with strength training specific for runners, not just guessing and doing random strength plans or random boot camp workout classes. Help them hit PRs without burning out and again, without getting hurt, and avoid having to be reliant on endless medications, cortisone injections, PRP injections, stem cell injections, and even avoid surgeries, even surgeries that I almost went through because I was even considering back surgery. Helped runners avoid going under the knife for surgery and get back to running pain-free. So if you're tired of injury holding you back, if you want a plan that actually works for your body, your goal, and your lifestyles, so watch my free training. I linked it below. It's going to show you exactly how to run pain-free without the guesswork, foam rolling, or taking time off. So check out the link in the description.